Do you feel like nothing is going well in your life? Do you feel like everything is messed up and you don't know where to start? Trust me, this is a feeling that I know all too well, and I'm going to give you tips on how to get unstuck. I thought my 30s would be like my 20s, except with more money. However, that was not the case. Basically, I went through a lot of crazy stuff in my 20s, and crazy is relative to me thinking it was crazy. But basically, in my 30s, I first started a career, a job that was going good. And then when COVID hit, I started having health issues, not due to COVID, by the way. It happened after I took a high dose of antibiotics. And what ended up happening is for the next few years, I was struggling and searching desperately for answers on what my health condition was. I spent over $33,000 in 3 to 4 years trying to figure out as well as treat the condition I had. And basically, in a nutshell, no doctors were able to figure it out. With all this going on, it was very hard to progress in my career or focus too much on my career because obviously I was focused on my health. The other thing that was also a very difficult area to make progress in and also enjoy more, I guess, was my dating life because, again, I was very focused on my health and understandably so. The other thing that added a wrinkle into everything is in 2023, I got laid off from my tech job. And admittedly, prior to that, my tech job was going well. So then for the past year, as you might know, or if you watch my other videos, I was searching for a full-time job in product management and technology. So that experience was a little bit traumatizing. It was very arduous. And anyone that's been going through the job hunt right now, especially in tech, knows that feeling. So there was a point in time, many points in time actually in the past few years, where I just wondered why is my life so difficult? Why am I struggling in health, in relationships, romantic relationships, as well as with my wealth, aka career? I just felt like I was constantly fighting battles in all the three areas of my life that really mattered: health, wealth, and relationships. And it really felt like there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. It felt like I was drowning. It felt like I was trying to swim ashore, but waves kept knocking me backwards. I'm using a lot of analogies right now, but the whole point is I felt like it was hard to make the progress I wanted in life in the areas of life that I cared about because it felt like life kept kicking me down, and I thought my entire life was really up. And I was wondering how to get out of this whole mess. However, there really is light at the end of the tunnel. At the time of me filming this video, I'm getting in better shape than I used to be before because I started working out a lot more and I started actually really watching my diet and switching up my diet. Number two is I am starting my new job next Monday. This is when I'm filming the video, so when I release the video, probably I would have already started the new job. But the point I'm trying to say is it's not like my life is perfect and amazing. I'm not making $1 million a year, but I do want to offer some tips and advice that I think would help you if you're in a position where you feel like nothing is going well in your life and you want to totally get unstuck, let's put it that way. Really prioritize what is important to you and really just focus on making progress in those areas. In our life, we have three areas: health, wealth, and relationships. If none of those are going well, obviously you want to have goals in each of those, but I would say prioritize 1 to 2 of those to really focus on. And the way I viewed goal setting was, if I make progress in one of these pillars of my life, will that lead to a positive upward spiral? Will that actually lead to a positive upward spiral, but also help other areas of my life? Let me give an example. For me, when I was job hunting the past year, the reason why I focused explicitly on job hunting and not other areas of my life, even though I still worked out and stuff like that, is due to the fact that I felt that by getting a job, I would have more money. By having more money, I could live. By having more money to live, I could live on my own and start dating. And, that would also allow me to have more money to maybe hire more medical experts or holistic doctors to help me out. So I want you to take a look at your goals and prioritize the ones that are the most important to you, and then narrow it down to the top 1 to 2 goals that you really want to focus on. This is not to say that you can't focus on other goals, but I would say when things are not going well in life and everything sucks, it is important to focus, because if you focus, you're more likely to make momentum and have a positive progress, which will lead to more momentum. And oftentimes when you focus on one specific part of your life, it has a positive upward spiral that leads to other areas of your life improving. It's really difficult to make positive changes in life and to really make progress when you're trying to do a million things at a time. For example, if you're trying to start a business, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to date, try to improve your relationship, you're trying to do things for your family, you're trying to travel, and all these other things. I'm just throwing stuff out there. If you have like a million things going on, it's really hard to make progress. But by focusing on one or two main goals, especially goals that will positively contribute to your life, but also by improving on one of these goals, it actually improves other parts of your life, that actually will make you feel more positive because you're making progress, and that will lead to more momentum, etc. You have to really see how far you've come. So if you start working on your goals, celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. So let's imagine a hypothetical scenario where you really neglected your health and you really let yourself go. And then one day you look on the scale and you realize that you're 20 pounds overweight. Now, here's the thing. If you are not allowing yourself to feel good until you lose those 20 pounds of weight, you're going to be unhappy for a long time, and there's a very high chance actually you might not even reach your goal because everything will seem so frustrating, so long and difficult in terms of the progress and journey to get to your goal. It is really, really important to celebrate your small wins. So even if you, let's say, went to the gym 2 times in the past week, you should celebrate that. If you lose a pound, you should celebrate that. If you see yourself slimming down in this hypothetical example, you should celebrate that. It is very important to sometimes look back and see what you've done well and see the work you've actually done. Because if it feels like you're always shooting towards this destination right here, but you feel like you're not there yet, and then there's this gap, but you're never focusing on how you're actually moving along, what ends up happening is your mind is constantly focused on lack. It's constantly focused on how you're not at your goal yet. And let me tell you this, I don't know too many people that are very motivated this way, but if you are constantly thinking about where you're not at right now, that is not a recipe for happiness. That is a recipe for misery, for shaming yourself, for feeling bad, for putting extra pressure on yourself, and not really going through the process of things. And I would say in general, this type of mindset where you feel like you're not gonna allow yourself to be happy until you make it, that mindset makes it very hard to stay motivated and continue doing the actions that will lead to your goals. I'll give an example. A few years ago, and by that I mean around 5 years ago, I was around 44K in debt. Initially, my focus was on paying off my highest interest credit card because that made mathematical sense. However, I got very frustrated because I kept paying money, I kept depositing out of my paycheck towards the debt, and it felt like I wasn't really making a dent in that debt. I switched over to a different method where I paid off my lowest balance credit card first. And the weird thing about it is that actually really motivated me because I started to see the balance shrink, and that motivated me to stay consistent and also motivated me to continue paying more money actually towards my debt. So what I'm trying to say is if you can see your progress and celebrate your wins, no matter how small, you seeing those changes, those tiny incremental changes will keep you motivated. And in the game of life, I would say a lot of times it's not about how quickly you do things, it's just about being motivated and doing consistently that leads to results. Do not feed your addictions and self-soothing behavior that is negative and not good for you. I don't know what your self-soothing behavior is, but chances are if nothing is going well in your life, you're probably coping with it in an unhealthy manner in some way. It could be via the content you consume online. It might be, overeating or emotional overeating. My point being is everyone has their own vices, but I understand when nothing is going well in your life and you want to your life, how tempting it is to slip into behaviors that in the short term give you like a dopamine fix, but long term, it's not serving you. And I think some people, when they're hearing this, they might say, well, Jeremy, my life freaking sucks right now. Like maybe I'm overweight, I don't have a job, I don't have a romantic partner, nothing is going well in life. Like, this is my only source of happiness. If this is the case, I want to share with you something one of my friends told me. We were traveling together and I was talking about how a lot of things were not going well in life and how I felt like I used food as an outlet. And he said, well, I understand that you feel that food is the only source of pleasure when nothing else is going well in life. But he said this was his mindset. From his perspective, if nothing in life is going well, at least have one thing in your life going well. And usually the one thing in life that can be going well is what you can control. In this case, you can control what you put in your mouth and eat. So his perspective is if nothing is going well and you feel like these self-soothing behaviors are your only source of pleasure in life, I would say understand that you have the choice to at least make one thing in your life go well, which is not doing this self-destructive behavior or habit, whatever it is for you. I also want to say, to get a little bit more philosophical, when we have these urges and addictions and self-soothing behavior, know that you are actually the master of your life and you're the master of your behavior. Know that those behaviors don't actually have real power over you. And this might sound kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, right? But let me explain it this way. If someone struggles with emotional overeating, this is a very complex subject, by the way, but I would distill it down to what actually happens is you see a trigger, like you look at a piece of food, let's say, you feel hunger, like your stomach growls, and you feel like an urge to eat then and there, right? But the reality is you can feel that urge, but you don't have to act on it. Like literally between that stimulus and your response, you don't have to act on that urge. So this is probably a different video topic, to be quite frank, but my point being is know that you are stronger than the urges. Know that you are stronger than your self-soothing coping mechanisms that are destructive and not healthy for you. And I want to say, if nothing is going well in your life, stop digging the hole deeper with these behaviors, because even though it may give you a temporary fix, it is really not helping. The next tip I would give is to really focus on self-care. This means working out. This means getting enough rest. This means actually having good relationships around you and getting enough sleep. This means protecting your mental health and doing meditation, etc. You don't have to exactly meditate, but basically protect your mental health. You have control over what time you go to bed. And these things, like your body really is your vehicle and medium for experiencing life. So you got to protect it in its entirety, both physically but also mentally. The last tip I would give to your life, especially if nothing is going well, is to ask for help. Know that you are not an island. I know it is very common. If you're not happy with where you're at in life, it's very common, at least for me, to be ashamed of myself, to self-soothe and self-isolate. But I will tell you this, being self-isolated and trying to hide from the public view and not ask for help, that will keep you stuck longer. Here's the reality. A lot of people probably do want to help you. There is definitely help out there. And the reason why a lot of people want to help you is because actually people like helping others. When people help others, they feel better. So do know that people want to help you. Also do know that it's a lot faster to ask for help and get help than it is to do it by yourself. This is something, and this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way for the longest time. By nature, I am hyper independent. Some people might say that's a trauma response, probably true. But I started to realize that, life is difficult. I need help. I need people who are better at doing things than I am in certain areas of life, and I need to ask for their help. The other thing is when you ask for help, the reason why you'll make progress faster is because people can see your blind spots. There are things about your life and the way you're approaching life and thinking about life that are not optimal. It will take you months, if not years, if not never, to find out what those blind spots are. But from the outside looking in, from an outsider perspective or a different person, they'll see those blind spots clear as day. So this is why asking for help is really useful in, making progress in life. The other thing I want to say is by asking for help, and when you actually see someone care for you or actually be present for you, that in and of itself will make you feel better, because oftentimes being isolated, right, you feel by yourself. But when you actually connect with human beings, that's usually pretty good for your mental health. So all in all, I would say if nothing is going well in your life, ask for help. You don't have to pay money for it necessarily, but you can ask for help from family and friends. You can ask for help on Reddit, on the internet forums, just wherever you can get help from, ask for help, because it will make your life so much better. You'll connect with people, but also people will see things about you that you don't realize about yourself. You finding out your blind spots will help you make progress a lot more quickly towards unfucking your life and living a better life. Okay, so those are the tips I have on how to unfuck your life, especially if things are not going well. I am obviously still in the process of doing this. I am not a guru. It's not like I'm making $1 million a year and everything's great in life. But I do want to share a few lessons that I've learned in the past few years from going through all these struggles in life. And I hope it helps those who are actually needing this advice and are going through tough times in life. If you have any comments on this content as well as the advice that I gave, leave it down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you all next time.